It's the Brian Craig Show podcast where MAGA comes to talk. I'm Brian, and the Brian Craig Show podcast is brought to you by Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need roof replacement or repair, Tom Laporta is your guy, no matter where you're in the state of Florida. He handles every type of roofing job from residential, commercial, and municipal. Online at laportaroofing.com. All right. Schumer. What's going on with Schumer is the kind of thing that you don't see very often with Democrats. They have completely turned on this guy because he voted in favor of this continuing resolution. And the Democrats are about to remove him from the Senate. He's the Senate leader, Schumer. He has been for a long time at the top of the food chain of Democrats, and they want him out now. And there's something very deep going on here that I'm going to break down for you during this conversation, because the Democrats are in a state of disarray, okay? Not only did they lose to the Republicans, they lost big in a landslide historic defeat to our favorite president, Donald Trump. And like the Bush wing of the Republican establishment, the Democrats, they are trying to regroup, figure out why they lost, and get control. And there's different factions inside the Democrat establishment that are fighting to regain control and win elections in the future. Just like in the Republican Party, we have different factions, right? We've got our great president, Donald Trump, the MAGA wing. And then we've got this group that's very small now that have completely lost control. And, the Bush Republican establishment, the neocons, that crew. And all of these people, they haven't given up and said, well, Trump won, that's the future. They're trying to regain control. And Schumer voted to allow this continuing revolution. That's what they're doing. Resolution continue on the budget. And they're having these insane meltdowns against him. You would think he was found with a male prostitute in a parked car. They would be less upset with him than this. In fact, that might even help him in the Democrat Party, right? And, it's an interesting thing about this continuing resolution, because the Democrats, they wanted a government shutdown. And it's an interesting thing because President Trump, through Elon and Doge, are reducing government so much. They've been telling, we need all this government. Now they were trying to shut it down. And I'm going to tell you what this is all about. But I want to start. I got some audio here. This is Van Jones on CNN yesterday, talking about Schumer.
Van, how angry are Democrats at Leader Schumer?
I've never seen this level of volcanic anger at a Democrat ever.
Nope.
Ever.
Wow. We could be grumpy. We can be frustrated with each other. There is a volcanic eruption of outrage at Leader Schumer because we want a Mitch McConnell. I remember when Obama had all the cards. Mitch McConnell drove Obama nuts, twisted his pinky, broke his kneecaps, and got stuff done for Republicans when they shouldn't have gotten an inch. They got miles. We have a Senate a majority leader who is beloved in this party, but we want somebody who's going to stand up to this bully. Stand up to this bully. Do something.
The bully, he means, of course, our favorite president, Donald Trump.
Something. And if you shut the government down and it gets a little bit crazy, at least some politics is about the rationality. There's an emotional need to stop Donald Trump and Elon Musk from running over this party. And I think Chuck Schumer has radically misread the room.
Okay, radically misread the room, and that's pretty hardcore. He's pretty deep. Now, I thought maybe that President Trump wanted a government shutdown, actually, because with the government shutdown, it would be easier to lay off the overbloated bureaucracy. But it was a win-win for Trump, however this came down. So, have you ever heard, what's new about this? Remember, President Trump in the first campaign, he used to say all the time at the rallies, say what you want about Democrats, but they always stick together, and that's why they're successful. To see the Democrats rally against their senior person in government is unheard of. Now that they're out of power, the Democrats, Schumer, as the Democrat leader in the Senate, which is the minority leader, but as the Democrat leader in the Senate, He is the highest ranking office holder for the Democrat Party, and they want him out. This is a group of young women that got arrested protesting Schumer yesterday. Listen.
Schumer is selling out the people of D.C. and the people of this country. He's selling out working people, young people. He's not standing up.
We are here in front of Chuck Schumer's office to send a clear message that young people want him to stand up.
Step up or step aside. Step generation aside on you. Or step aside.
Okay, and then a bunch of them got arrested. So what's going on here? And it's pretty clear to me, because I've been following this for a long time. This is all about AOC. AOC, she has wanted that Senate seat of his for quite some time. Excuse me, guys. She's wanted that Senate seat. And we used to hear about this quite a bit. And then she went against that Amazon building in New York and cost all those high-paying six-figure jobs coming to New York, 50,000 of them. And then she was kind of on the outs for a while. But she wants that Senate seat. And what the Democrat East Coast elite establishment have thought. Now, I know this is crazy thinking, guys. I was talking about this on a YouTube live stream early this morning, having my coffee. And I know a lot of you think I'm nuts on this. This is all about AOC. And what the AOC East Coast wing of these lunatic Democrats are doing is throwing Schumer under the bus. They want AOC to be the senator from New York. And the reason they want to do that is they want to elevate her. They want to elevate her. And the purpose of that is AOC, the plan that they've had with this Democratic socialist, Ocasio-Cortez, what they've planned with her since they first cast her in this role as a member of the House of Representatives is to make her president one day. And you got to understand, I know that sounds crazy, but these are Democrats we're talking about, okay? Radical lunatic Democrats. So they are crazy. To them, this makes sense. To you and I, we see the reality here. But, you know, this invasion that President Trump stopped from the southern border, they had planned on, this was their plan, was to have this new majority of the illegals from Latin America and have her in place to run for president. The last two Democrat presidents came from the Senate, Obama and Biden. And Kamala that they just ran, she was in the Senate too. So they think that she is the future of their party, her wing of the Democrat Party. Now, there's an East Coast, West Coast Democrat rivalry going on that, you know, you've got the East Coast is AOC and the West Coast is Gavin Newsom, but I'm talking about AOC right now. And this has been going on for years. And 5 or 6 years ago, there was a Disney Channel show that debuted that was about AOC. And when that show debuted, I talked about it on this program and said, this program is about, it's the foreshadowing of AOC's presidency. So it was 5 or 6 years ago, there was this Disney Channel show called Diary of a Future President. And Diary of a Future President was about a Latina little girl. And it was a tween show. It was a little girl who was like at middle school was the main character, but she grew up to be president. And it was told, it was Diary of a Future President. The grown-up AOC character in that Disney Channel show was in the Oval Office reading her childhood diary, and it would flash back and those were the episodes that you saw, okay? And those tweens that were watching that show on the Disney Channel 5-6 years ago, by the time they put AOC in to run for president, they'll be old enough to vote. It's all about AOC and elevating her. Now, even Pelosi, once Schumer out of the way, Nancy Pelosi has listen to this. This is in trending politics. Nancy Pelosi has publicly broken ranks with Chuck Schumer, calling on Senate Democrats to reject his approach to the latest government funding fight. The move has exposed a deepening rift within Democratic leadership as lawmakers scramble to avoid a potential shutdown. On a Friday social media post, Nancy Pelosi denounced the funding proposal that Schumer appeared to be backing, arguing that Democrats must not buy into this false choice between a shutdown and what she described as a devastating assault on the well-being of working families. So here you have Even Pelosi is after Schumer. Here's another. This is in also in Trending Politics. And if you, by the way, Trending Politics is a very good conservative news website. It's called trendingpoliticsnews.com, trendingpoliticsnews.com. And they have an app and everything, and they're very, very good. Members of the squad are threatening to run a primary challenger against Schumer after he announced he would vote to unconditionally pass a continuing resolution that keeps the government open. Yeah, because so you've got Pelosi, you've got the squad, you've got Van Jones saying things that I've never heard before. Listen to this. This is MSNBC last night.
What does this mean for Chuck Schumer?
It's not good. I mean, look, the reality is that he has a caucus that wants to fight. You have a number of talented younger members like Murphy and others who really want to lead the party going forward. And so he has to show that, notwithstanding being in his mid-70s, he can lead the party in the Senate. What he's done this week has not shown that. In fact, he's done the opposite.
Wow. And that person that was speaking, the guy on MSNBC, he was the spokesperson for Hakeem Jeffries. So, you've got the DNC really, really super hardcore, working hard to primary Schumer out of office. And how this winds up, I don't know, but it shows you this rift inside the Democrat Party that is one that like that we've never seen before. And I enjoy it. I mean, I don't want them to be organized, because if they get organized, it makes it more difficult for us. We want them in total disarray, the Democrats. So the thing with the Democrats, they don't even know that they're out of touch with the pulse of the American people. And the Democrats, they still think they're a bunch of hipsters. Okay? They're not. They're out of date. And it's Team Trump and MAGA world that feel the pulse of the American people. I'll give you an example. This new Snow White that was made, I think, it seems now like a couple years ago, but it's about to come out and everyone's talking about it, and there's a lot of controversy with it. And it's going to be, Disney should not even release it, really. They should only release it on their app, but they're going to be embarrassed. This Snow White movie, this woke Snow White, what's going to make it bomb is this. It was made for another time. And what I mean by that is, this Snow White was made, it's the snow, from what has been reported about this Snow White, the prince isn't the hero. He doesn't come in and save Snow White. She's a woke woman and she doesn't need a man to come save her. And Snow White, a lot of people may not realize, but Snow White is what made Walt Disney a big deal. Snow White was the first feature-length animated film of its kind, and it made Walt Disney and Walt Disney Studios big. And when Walt Disney made Snow White, and Walt Disney was a conservative Republican, people. He was a conservative Republican. Don't let the wokesters at Disney convince you of anything else. In fact, Disney World, he made that deal with Disney World, with their independent government, with a Republican governor, and he brought Disney World here to Florida, not so much because of the weather, that was a part of it, but it was because this is a non-union state, all right? And so he was a hardcore conservative Republican, Mr. Walt Disney, the actual man, and what they've done to his company. But this Snow White was made for a woke world. It was made for a world where Kamala Harris or Joe Biden won the presidential election. And it's so out of date, it's about to bomb. And the Democrats are like that. They don't realize that these things that they're pushing, this overbloated government, overtaxation, defending these foreign countries and to not tax them while they want to tax us, the transgendered sports issue, the list goes on, right? The hits keep coming. They don't realize that the American people have rejected all that. They think that they just didn't have the right messenger for their wackadoodle message, like open borders, okay? So they're still fighting this out-of-date policy platform that was rejected by the American people in favor of Donald Trump in November, and they don't even realize it. And you know what? That's a good thing. We don't want them to realize it. Now, if you'd like to support the program, of course, a great way to do that is to go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout. You know, you can use our promo code Kane, Kane, on all the specials at mypillow.com, no matter what the special says, okay? And I have all these products. I have bought them myself. They still have a free shipping offer going on at mypillow.com. Check that out. My wife and I, we have all the sheets, the Giza Dream sheets, the flannel sheets, the Prakow sheets. We have those. We have the towel sets. We have every type of pillow they make. We have the pet beds. The body pillow, which is just $29.88, which is $60 off. It's usually $89.99. The My Pillow body pillow, I got one of those for Steve Kane. We have the slippers, which are normally $149.98, but just $59.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. We have the My Pillow mattress. We have the My Pillow mattress topper, and many more My Pillow products. And I've bought them all using our promo code Kane at checkout. And you know, when you use our promo code Kane, Kane at checkout at mypillow.com, you're saving lots of money. The free shipping offer is there, as you'll see when you go to the website. And you're also supporting all the content that I bring you, my podcast, my YouTube channel, and the radio show. And it's greatly appreciated. Mike Lindell's been a strong supporter of all of my content for many years now. And that's because you are using my promo code Kane. And when you use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at mypillow.com, you're letting Mike Lindell know that you're supporting him and me at the same time. And I do appreciate that, guys. I want to thank you. And I talk to Mike and his assistants in his office regularly, and they are always blown away by how much support you and this audience have shown. In fact, your support has been greater than many of the big national named broadcasters out there. And I want to thank you all. So it's promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at mypillow.com. All right, we're going to take our first break. There's a whole bunch more to talk about. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this. Have you ever felt like life keeps knocking you down? Like every step forward is met with another setback? You're not alone. In the book, The Quiet Climb, Whispered Lessons from a Shattered Life, available on Amazon, author Zonta Arrow reminds us that struggle isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of something greater. Through moments of pain, loss, and self-doubt, The Quiet Climb reveals the strength that rises from within, the lessons hidden in our hardest days, and the resilience that turns trials into victory. Your story isn't over. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Discover the wisdom, hope, and renewal waiting for you in The Quiet Climb from author Zonta Arrow. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Order your copy right now, because sometimes the quietest climbs lead to the most powerful transformations. Are you confused by food labels? Wondering if organic is really better? Find the answers to those questions and more in the new book from author Evgeny Trufkin, The Anti-Factory Farm Shopping Guide, available on Amazon. Filled with fun illustrations as well as easy-to-follow insights, The Anti-Factory Farm Shopping Guide breaks down factory farm versus organic food, shares the truth about pesticides and what labels really mean. Plus, there's free video lessons that help you take action fast. You'll learn much more, too, like the differences between caged, cage-free, free-range, and pasture-raised meats and eggs. Learn to easily identify genetically modified foods, the myth about safe pesticides, why seeing vegetarian feed on a label is actually a bad thing, even if it's organic, and much, much more. Start eating healthier, shopping smarter, and avoid food industry tricks, and order your copy of The Anti-Factory Farm Shopping Guide from author Evgeny Trufkin on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Are you looking for a new job and tired of filling out endless applications? Let Lift My CV take over the job search for you. Lift My CV is the new AI-powered job search agent that finds and auto-applies to the best jobs for you, so you can land that dream job faster and easier than ever. Lift My CV is easy to use too. Just set your preferences, upload your resume, and Lift My CV handles everything else. It scans top job boards like LinkedIn, Monster, and more, and fills out the applications while you focus on prepping for that big big interview. Your job search just got a lot easier. There's no subscriptions and no commitments. Sign up right now at liftmycv.com. That's liftmycv.com. Apply faster. Get hired sooner. What if the news didn't just tell you the story, but made you live it? Author Emily Tiffany Joy takes you inside a near-future society where the line between fact and fiction disappears in Technesthesia, a new journalism, available on Amazon. In Technesthesia, enter a world where technology has rewritten human perception. Truth is no longer reported, it's experienced. In the future of journalism, memory, identity, and reality itself are no longer your own. If truth can be felt rather than proven, does it still matter if it's real? Technesthesia is a mind-bending, thought-provoking journey into the next evolution of media. Author Emily Tiffany Joy is a philosopher and founder of the Center for Non-Adversarial Knowledge Structuring. It's a groundbreaking initiative that's dedicated to ethical innovation, responsible artificial intelligence frameworks, and much more. The future isn't coming, it's already here. Order your copy right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Technesthesia from author Emily Tiffany Joy.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, and of course, this is The Brian Craig Show podcast. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so there's this new trend. It's almost becoming like the ice bucket challenge for Democrats, celebrities, and people in Congress. They're getting rid of their Teslas. And, this is just stunning to me. And now there's this narrative going around that a lot of trolls are promoting. They're saying, oh, MAGA, conservatives, Republicans hated Teslas. Now they love them, and Democrats hate them. No, Republicans, MAGA, President Trump, we never hated Teslas or electric vehicles. The beef was we didn't like the idea that the government was regulating that we buy them. And what the Democrats, what their strategy was with electric vehicles was to drive the price of gasoline so high that people would buy EVs in the hopes that they would save money, which is, by the way, a total fake thing. These Democrats don't believe in climate change, global warming, whatever you want to call it. If they did, they wouldn't be flying around in private jets, all right? They would jet pool like the rest of us, okay? But when they start flying in regular commercial planes, or instead of traveling somewhere just to speak for a few minutes, they would zoom in. If I want you to think about what the left have been telling us all these years, right? This is what they've been saying, that human activity with our carbon output is going to make the earth incapable of supporting life. And they always keep pushing the number of years down the road because we crossed that line they've drawn. If they really believed that driving cars and flying on airplanes and everything was going to make the planet Earth incapable of supporting human life, they wouldn't even be in Congress in person. They would do it all by Zoom. And, so it's an absurd thing. There's a lot of virtue signaling going on. But the reason they push EVs has nothing to do with the environment. They don't care. It's about China. China does not have oil. So China, who has bought off the Democrats and almost took over this country, they had a lot of pull. I don't need to go through the history of it. If you listen to this program, you know. And China wants people on EVs. In fact, China is producing a lot of low-cost EVs that they were planning on flooding the U.S. market with the Democrats. I think those plans are over now because we've got Americans back in charge of the country. But all these Teslas that they've been driving that they're getting rid of to try to hurt Elon Musk is really exposing their scam. When Biden gave Afghanistan back to the people that knocked down the buildings, that's what he did. He also gave the largest lithium deposits in the world to China because those were in Afghanistan. We have lithium in this country too, but not those Afghan lithium mines are huge. And since China does not have oil, part of their world domination plan is to get people off of oil into EVs. And anyway, there's an endless list of liberals and celebrities. Here's Mark Kelly, who's a real beaut, talking about his Tesla. Listen.
Hey, folks, it's Mark Kelly here in Washington, driving to work for the last time in my Tesla. When I bought this thing, I didn't think it was going to become a political issue. Every time I get in this car in the last 60 days or so, it reminds me of just how much damage Elon Musk and Donald Trump is doing to our country. Talking about slashing Social Security, cutting healthcare benefits for poor people, for seniors. It's one bad thing after the next. He's firing veterans. I'm a veteran, so I have a really hard time driving around in this thing. So I think it's time for an upgrade today. So this is going to be my last trip in this car. There are some things I really liked about it. There are things I didn't like about it, but that doesn't matter. What matters is, doing the right thing. I think it's time to get rid of it. Elon Musk kind of turned out to be an asshole, and I don't want to be driving the car built and designed by an asshole. So, looking forward to my new ride.
Okay, now I want to slow down on that. What Donald Trump is doing with Doge through Elon, when he talks about cutting Social Security and stuff, we don't know how many people that are receiving benefits that are not even U.S. citizens and in this country illegally. They're purging them off the rolls. And of course, the over 10 million people that are over 120 years old, some over 300 years old that are on Social Security, not like Americans or people in the country legally or people that are alive. And I think everybody knows this. And this goes back to what I was talking about in the first segment, where the Democrats have lost touch with the pulse of the American people. And they have these talking points that nobody believes anymore. Now, okay, this thing about firing veterans, all of a sudden they care about the veterans. The firing veterans. This just blows my mind. So you mean to tell me that, and what they're talking about are people in the federal bureaucracy that are being laid off. They're making this a veteran thing, and some of them are veterans, no doubt. A lot of people that serve in the military and that work at the post office or something, and they get extra points. I've heard on these civil service exams, and that's what we want to take care of our veterans, no doubt about it. We don't spit on our veterans like the Democrats did after Vietnam, but because someone's a veteran, they should be given a job that's not needed in the federal government and make a lot of money for the rest of their life. I don't understand that kind of thinking. Well, I'll tell you, when Mark Kelly's talking about a-holes, at least he's talking about a subject that he has an expertise in, being a liberal one himself. The liberals, see, one of the problems the left have right now, and they got a lot. Come on, we know they have a lot of problems. We know about that. They have a lot of problems. But one of the problems they have is they stand for nothing other than their hatred of Donald Trump, and that's not a position. It's not a policy. It's not helping anyone. And Rush always said the Democrats, they always go back to that same old tired talking point. But this country has been so red-pilled that these old tactics just don't work. Cutting Social Security, taking food from kids, all this stuff. People don't buy their nonsense anymore, and they don't know it, which is good. So this was beautiful. Sebastian Gorka, who's incredibly awesome, he was on with Jake Tapper, who's a real beaut, on CNN yesterday. Listen to this.
Washington Post reported that the freeze on U.S. foreign assistance in Africa, are you concerned about them at all?
Is that the same Washington Post that propagated the Russia collusion hoax for the last 8 years?
Well, regardless of the Russia...
No, not regardless. You're quoting the Washington Post to me. I really couldn't care less what the Washington Post or the New York Times says, especially when it's anonymous government officials. If it's true, put your name to it. If it's not, shut up.
Wow, what a badass Sebastian Gorka is, isn't he? I mean, that's awesome. The Washington Post, which is an arm of the deep state that brought Nixon down with the deep state operative Bob Woodward. Yeah. And, what's happened here, a lot of things have happened, but you hear this with Sebastian Gorka. the people Trump has around him now are highly skilled, they're loyal, and they know how to handle the media. And the media have totally, over the last 10 years of Trump, blown their credibility. I give you an example. Last night, the rescue mission was launched by Elon Musk and SpaceX to the space station to rescue those stranded astronauts that Boeing sent up and Biden left up there all this time. And this space mission not only is historic, it's written for liberals. Okay. Now, the part that's historic is this SpaceX mission is the first rescue in space. It's hard to believe, but there's never been a rescue in space, ever, ever, ever. Apollo 13, they saved themselves up there, okay? I've talked about this a lot the last couple of days because it's so important, this historic moment that the press aren't covering it. And I'll get to the woke part in a second. But the Space Shuttle Columbia, remember, disintegrated on reentry because the heat shield was damaged. NASA knew the heat shield was damaged and it was going to disintegrate and the astronauts would die. But NASA did not have the ability to rescue them. The space station was up there, but the space shuttle didn't have the ability to go to the space station unless that's where the mission designed it for. It didn't have the fuel to get to the space station. And NASA did not have the ability to launch another space shuttle to rescue the Columbia astronauts. So they brought him back knowing they were going to die. There has never been a rescue mission in outer space. This is so historic. It's amazing. But the part of the story that fits the woke narrative that the media love, they're covering up. The SpaceX rescue mission has 4 astronauts on board. There's 2 specialists who are men that are going to stay on the space station. And their seats are the ones that the stranded astronauts are coming back on because these 2 guys are going to stay on the space station. The commander and the pilot of this SpaceX rescue mission that launched last night are both women. One's I can't remember which one's in the Air Force and which one is in the Army, but the commander is a colonel and the pilot is a major, and they're both women. And even though what a woke narrative, right? Elon Musk, he has sent 2 women to space on the first rescue mission in outer space in history, and that's not even being mentioned. The media, they hate Elon because, well, he's shrinking the bureaucracy. He's MAGA. He helped Trump win, and he supports Trump. So they're not going to report this historic mission. And not only is it the first rescue in space is being done by 2 female astronauts, which is it's a big deal. And I've seen them do stories on women doing things that aren't even history making before. Like I saw an Air Force squadron. It was all women in this squadron at an air show. They did this. They made practically a movie about them that they ran online and on television. This is something that's never happened before. And these aren't the first women to mount a rescue mission in space. They're the first people to mount a rescue mission in space. That's perfect wokeism. It's like, if when a woman goes to the moon one day, she'll be the first woman on the moon, but that'll never trump Neil Armstrong being the first human on the moon, right? So the first rescue mission ever in space done by 2 women astronauts, a colonel and a major, and they don't even want to let you know, even though it fits their woke narrative, because they hate Trump that much. These are crazy people we're dealing with. There's no doubt about it. And that's okay. They're frustrated. We don't want them to be happy. We want them to continue to be frustrated, and we don't want them to figure out what they've done wrong and how to correct it. I mean, they're so consumed with their Trump derangement syndrome. Even if they were listening to this podcast, they would not be able to correct it. Okay. Because they're so consumed with their hatred of Donald Trump, they can't even conceive. Now, there's a big defeat about to come to the Democrats and the media, and that is the ceasefire with Ukraine and Russia is imminent. I mean, it may have already happened by the time you're listening to me, but it's going to happen soon. And by the way, President Trump killed the leader of ISIS. I read this morning, the current leader of ISIS is no longer with us, courtesy of our favorite president, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, in his first term, was the first president since the Second World War to not start a new conflict, a new military conflict. Isn't that amazing? And he's going to do the same again, and he's ending this European war. And they just can't stand it. And Caitlin Collins had John Bolton on CNN last night, and you can hear the frustration that the death, the destruction will be ending, courtesy of Trump. Listen, this is Bolton, Michael Bolton with, John Bolton. Michael Bolton's the singer, okay, who used to have a lot of long hair. This is John Bolton, not the singer, with the funny mustache with Caitlin Collins on CNN.
Principals, Secretary of State Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz kind of do the talking?
Look, the pressure that Trump has put on for a ceasefire is motivated by one thing, Trump's desire for good publicity and to buttress his case to get a Nobel Peace Prize. You want a ceasefire between two warring parties, they need to decide.
Oh, they need to decide it. So there should not be an arbiter? So you don't want to have someone brokering peace. They got to come up with it on their own. Well, that's just not going to happen. Okay. First off, Ukraine, the only reason they're coming to any agreement is because Trump's forcing them. President Trump keeps telling us that he's seen the briefings that the death and destruction in Ukraine is far worse than anyone knows. And I don't need to see it. I don't want to see it, and I don't need to know. But typically, when there's a war going on, the media show you these images. But they know that the media showing the images from Vietnam is what ended that war, okay? So the media are hiding the death and destruction in Ukraine because they know that if you see what's going on over there and how bad it is, public opinion in this country will turn against them, and they just can't let that happen. So and Zelensky's the worst. His country is losing. They're losing big. Okay, they're going to continue to lose, and they're losing a lot of people. But he doesn't care. He just doesn't care, and he is willing to let his people die, even though they're losing so poorly because, well, he's getting rich off of it. That's it. I mean, we know. I mean, this is his whole life, and it's a terrible thing. Now, I want to tell you about Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida and you need roof replacement or repair, he's your guy. He handles every type of structure, residential, commercial, and municipal. He can handle the job of any size, too. If you have a small single-family home, an office building, or you have a condo HOA that has over 300 units in it, he can handle the job of any size. He'll never sell you a roof you don't need either. He's a good MAGA guy that you can trust. And what I mean by that is, if you just need a simple repair, Tom Laporta will do the simple repair. I'm going to give you his cell phone number and his website. Now, his cell phone number is not on the website. That's the main office number. But to our listeners, he gives the cell phone number so you can call or text. And let me tell you, to have the cell phone number of the owner of a company like this and this size is unheard of, except for Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. The website is laportaroofing.com, all right? laportaroofing.com. But call or text Tom Laporta directly on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602 for Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting and Roofing. My name's Brian. We're going to take a break. There's so much more to cover. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
What fuels a champion? Focus, strength, and endurance. And now there's an energy drink like no other that's built for all three. Blitz. Other energy drinks say they're made without sugar and artificial sweeteners. Everyone has zero sugar, but they all use artificial sweeteners except Blitz. Blitz is naturally sweetened using a fruit called monk fruit that gives you clean energy without that crash. Blitz is packed with green tea, ginseng, ginkgo biloba, and ginger, loaded with B vitamins in combination with herbs. calories. It sharpens focus and will fuel your performance at work or at the gym. And at just 15 calories, it has no artificial colors, dyes, or high fructose corn syrup. Blitz is energy the way it should be. Pure, powerful, and made with real lychee fruit that gives you bold, refreshing flavor. Blitz ships to all 50 states. So order right now online at blitzbeverages.com. That's BLITZ. blitzbeverages.com. You can also find Blitz in select grocery stores in New York City. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at Blitz Energy Drinks. And get ready for 3 new flavors coming soon. Pineapple, grapefruit, and passion fruit. Blitz, energy for champions. Drink up, power up, rise above. Order now at blitzbeverages.com. Can words truly mend a broken heart and bring hope in the darkest moments? From war veteran and author Edgar Dixon Rodriguez comes his deeply personal journey of love, faith, and resilience in his book, Letters That Give You Goosebumps, available on Amazon. Through handwritten letters, author Edgar Dixon Rodriguez discovered a lifeline in the chaos of war, proving that even in the darkest times, words can heal, unite, and even inspire. This must-read and powerful memoir reveals the transformative power of letters in healing trauma, a love story that defied all odds through words of hope, and how simple acts of kindness can change lives forever. What makes this book unique is that it features heartfelt letters, authentic images, a historic journal, captivating videos, and an original soundtrack. It delivers a truly multi-sensory, immersive, and unforgettable experience. This book also makes a great addition to your book club. What if the letters you wrote could not only save yourself, but also someone else? Experience the power of words and order your copy of Letters That Give You Goosebumps, a memoir of love, faith, and healing from author Edgar Dixon Rodriguez, available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and Kindle Unlimited. You can also learn more on the author's website, projectpluspr.com/books. Letters That Give You Goosebumps, a memoir of love, faith, and healing from author Edgar Dixon Rodriguez on Amazon. Experience the mystery, elegance, and soothing power of Dark Night Candles, only at candlesbyross.com. Handcrafted with care by Ross, the creator of the Dark Night Candle line. These luxurious candles are designed to ease anxiety, relieve stress, and bring a serene glow to your home. Each flame represents resilience, strength, and quiet sophistication. Infused with deep, evocative fragrances, Dark Night Candles are eco-friendly and handmade with care in the charming village of Grays Lake, Illinois. They're perfect for those who love modern luxury with a touch of mystique. Right now, enjoy free shipping and an exclusive buy 2, get 1 free offer. No code needed. Shop the entire Dark Night Candle collection today at candlesbyross.com. Let their glow bring warmth and serenity to your space. The Dark Night Candle collection, where modern craftsmanship meets legendary spirit. Order now at candlesbyross.com. From author Krista St. Germain comes a story of love, loss, and the power of resilience in Where Are You, Caleb? A novel available on Amazon. 20 years ago, Diane Hart's life was shattered. Her 6-year-old son, Caleb, vanished without a trace. No answers, no closure, just the endless pain of wondering, where are you, Caleb? Now, decades later, the truth is finally within reach. Diane's daughters, Anna and Kara, team up with relentless detectives to uncover the secrets that have been buried for years. What they find will change everything. Find out the truth and order your copy of Where Are You, Caleb? A novel from author Krista St. Germain on Amazon. This book makes a perfect addition to your book club and will stay with you long after the final page. Where Are You, Caleb? A novel from author Krista St. Germain on Amazon.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, and of course, this is the Brian Craig Show podcast. I want to thank our Patreon supporters. You know, our top Patreon supporters, you get a live on-air thank you shout out. So the names you'll hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish, Wilkerson, Christy R, John S, Frank, and Dale. These are our top Patreon supporters. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. Okay, so someone from the media hit Trump in the face with a microphone. Let me read. This is in the Daily Mail, and Trump was ticked. If you've seen the video of it, Donald Trump, this is the Daily Mail. Donald Trump had to shake off a bizarre moment when a boom microphone whacked him in the face during a press gaggle at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland. I still call it Andrews Air Force Base. I can't get used to that Joint Base. That's so Canadian, where they have a joint military. Trump was addressing the media before leaving D.C. following his speech at the Justice Department. Trump was in high spirits as he got ready to leave the area and took a question about the Middle East. All of a sudden, the reporter's boom microphone, a mobile, soft, fuzzy, but large mic that allows reporters to get sound when people are moving around, hit Trump in the mouth. And this is a big old microphone. I mean, it's huge. And I've never seen that happen before. Ever. Not just with President Trump, but anyone. Trump had to close his eyes to avoid further contact and leaned away from the boom microphone. Eventually, however, he was able to see the funny side as it got moved further back from the president. She just made television tonight. She just became a big story tonight, Trump said of the mic operator. He asked while unable to stop from laughing, "Did you see that?" So he seemed to handle it okay, but the look on his face, he was pissed. Trump was praised by his supporters for how he dealt with the awkward scenario on camera. A reporter just hit President Trump with a microphone, but 47 handled it like a pro one. Now, he was pissed, and he gave the look. Could you imagine if they would have hit Biden or Obama? Could you imagine what they would be doing? Oh, they'd be going nuts. Oh, racism, thisism, thatism. But Trump, they think he deserves it. That's it. Now, I was just looking on X during the break. The number one trend on X right now is Bill Burr. I'm not going to play the audio. He's a comedian, if you don't know. He's a white comedian, and he went on The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God. And here's what it says. Comedian Bill Burr, during a promotional tour for his new Hulu comedy special, criticized billionaire Elon Musk on The Breakfast Club radio show. Burr expressed his concern over how Musk could publicly reference Adolf Hitler and still maintain his professional standing and public support. The incident has sparked varied reactions on social media, with some defending Musk and others agreeing with Burr's critique. Okay, now first off, who cares what Bill Burr says about much of anything? I've seen him around. He's nominally funny, but seems like a mediocre talent at best. But a lot of things that are see, this is one of the things you got to understand. A lot of the things that are trending are not just these are not organic trends. You can purchase a trend. Okay, and here he is promoting his Hulu comedy special. You think it's just a coincidence that this guy's got a Hulu comedy special and he's trending at the same time? And he's not just trending, he's the number one trend on X right now. No, it's not a coincidence. And, you can be so manipulated by these things. Oh, it's the number one trend. It must be true. It must be important. We should consider, maybe we should consider, and all this. The days of me caring what comedians and celebrities say or think are long behind me, because most of them are uneducated. And when I mean uneducated, I don't mean their level of school. I mean, they're just uneducated as to the world. And there's a lot of virtue signaling going on with entertainers too, to get work, because if they're not woke, they won't get work. Now, J.D. Vance, our great vice president, did a Fox News interview, and he's really looking good, isn't he? He's looking great. He since the Zelensky meeting, and what happened is President Trump gave an interview a few weeks ago, and they said, "Is J.D. Vance your successor?" And he says, "No." So JD is out there showing us and the president that he's worthy of our support and his endorsement, and he's doing great. You know, the way he handled Zelensky he was total like the boss. He did have a major, I think, a minor slip when he wore the funny Irish socks in the Oval Office when the Irish Prime Minister was there and the Prime Minister of Ireland, and Trump even made a reference to the socks. I don't think he'll make that mistake again. But he gave this interview and he was talking about the illegals that have overrun Europe and how they're losing their culture and everything. And he is so right. You know, European civilization is about to be wiped off the face of the planet because of the Islamic migration that's taken over all of their countries, not just Germany. England, we talk about a lot, is already lost. And it's really frightening. And, you know, Europe, they are losing their culture. And they're trying to do it here, too. I mean, you've seen this outrage in New York City and the voice and the numbers of people that are supporting this guy that's being deported by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, this Hamas Iranian agent that's been working in New York, shows you that there's way too much influence of this group of people in New York City. These are the same people that have overrun Europe. Now that they've conquered Europe, they're moving to America, and they're going to have a tough time. You know, and Marco Rubio, he's another one like JD that is making us all proud, and he's very presidential. You know, I know a lot of people are saying they could be running mates, but do you see Marco Rubio being second banana to a millennial? I don't know about that. But Marco Rubio, I mean, he's really made some boss moves. If you look at what's going on, he got Ukraine to agree to a ceasefire. He's negotiating with the Russians right now as we speak on signing off on the ceasefire so the peace talks and a treaty can be made. He took the green card and is deporting this Iranian Hamas agent from Columbia University. And then yesterday, he did something that I don't know when the last time this happened was, because I don't remember it happening ever. I'm sure it's happened, but I don't in my time, but I don't remember it. He just expelled an ambassador. Marco Rubio just expelled the South African ambassador to the United States, he says is a racist. And, you know, these racist policies that the Trump administration have been talking about out of South Africa have been going on for years, but no one's done anything about it. And there's kind of been an attitude in this country. A lot of it is because of the critical race theorist and such, but there's been a lot of thought that, you know, these white people in South Africa are getting what they deserved after apartheid. Apartheid was awful. It was pretty bad, but that doesn't mean that the people that are still there deserve to be persecuted like that by the majority. And Trump's been cracking down on South Africa, and now with Marco Rubio expelling their ambassador, I wonder, during apartheid, they had a presence here. Now we had an embargo against them. In fact, one of the Lethal Weapon movies was about that. Remember Cougarans? You know, you couldn't have Cougarans in the United States, and now, now you can. It's because they ended apartheid, and expelling the ambassador. That's a bold move. I don't think we've had a Secretary of State in my lifetime who was as much of a boss as Marco Rubio. These other secretaries of state, to me, have seemed to go around the world trying to make them like us. And Marco Rubio's dealing with people around the world, telling them this is America and this is what we want and this is what you will do. And if you don't like it, you're going to get expelled. You're going to get your green card revoked. You're going to be deported. You know, and that's so different, isn't it? And refreshing. Isn't it nice to have an administration that's actually backing us up? It is. It's sad that it's so new to us, right? I mean, this is how it should always be. If the government was run by people like Trump and his great cabinet all the time, could you imagine, as great as the country is and as successful as it is, could you imagine how successful it would be if every president and every cabinet were like Trump and this cabinet that are putting America first? You know, that's part of the Make America Great Again campaign slogan, is what you were seeing right here. Now, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton, who's rid me of pain 7 times. In fact, today I'm having lunch with Dr. Appleton. We're having lunch at a nice Mexican restaurant. I haven't had Mexican in a while. Now, since I was in Los Angeles, so he and I are going out to lunch on Saturday, having a great time. And he's so great. I haven't seen him in a while because I usually only see Dr. Appleton when I'm in pain. And since he rids me of pain every time I go and see him, I don't see him till the next time I fall and hurt myself. But Dr. Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment works on every type of pain I have ever heard of. And I've met so many listeners over the couple of years that Dr. Appleton has been with us on the program who are now living pain-free. And it's always the same thing. They come up to me and they're touching the part of their body that used to hurt. It could be their hip, their back, their knee, their arm, whatever it is. And they tell me their story. And sometimes they tell me I'm here only because I'm pain-free now. I couldn't get out. I couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck at home, or I'd go home from work and go to bed because I was in so much pain. And now they're living pain-free. Go see Dr. Appleton. Take advantage of the no-charge consultation. By the way, if you have x-rays or any scans, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will gladly look over them for you and say bye-bye to your pain. We have listeners that have come from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. He's that good. 954-973-0710 is his number. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. I'm Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk.